Hey guys, it's Steve from Financial Python, and I just wanted to put together this quick video on how you can get stock share borrowing data with Python from this source iBorrowDesk. Not sure if you guys are familiar with iBorrowDesk, but as you can see, what it does is it has the short share availability for each stock as well as the fees associated with borrowing those shares. So as you can see on the home page, it just shows a list of I guess like the top ones. I could search filter. But what I'm interested in is getting these values for each stock. So as you can see, if I click on this stock Leo here, what it's going to show me is the borrow data over time. And as you can see that, recently there's been a big spike in the fees associated with borrowing these shares, as well as a decrease in the amount of shares available. So right now this is just showing the 15-minute. But what I wanted to show is how we can get this data inside either some sort of Python script, like a Python method that can be used in maybe a trading bot, or in the case of my use case right now, I'm just displaying it on my website. As you guys know, I have this share borrow info associated with this stock. Just on my staging app right now because I was just doing some testing of different functionality. But you can see, I have the fees associated, how many shares are available, and when the last update was. So let me show you how I get this data. So if I go back to iBorrowDesk and I click Inspect, bring over my inspector. So I want to go over to the Network tab, and I don't have anything here. So let me just refresh this. So the network repopulates. And as you can see, if I just search, I already had that pre-filtered, but if I were to search for the stock ticker specifically, I see this one request here with that name. And let me open that up. If I go over to the headers, you can see it's making a request to this iBorrowDesk.com API. This slash ticker slash the ticker symbol, in this case LEO. And if I go over to the preview, what we see is we have two different, it's a JSON object with two different lists of records. We have these daily records where we have, this is backwards in terms of timeline, but you can see the most recent one today, the 25th. We can see the available share borrowing data for this day, and we can see a timeline, basically how the data changes over time. So we see how the fees have been increasing. The shares, I believe, did drop recently, although they were pretty low around here. But the idea is we can see a pattern in how the available number of shares changes over time, as well as the fees associated. And we can view that daily or, in this case, real time, which, it looks like it's doing it basically on a 15-minute interval. So, if we have some sort of trading bot or script that's interested in this, all we have to do is use the Python request method. So to do this, all we have to do is make a Python request like we would anywhere else. So I'm going to import the request package to just have that separately. I'll start a new method here. So I'm going to say the URL of this request. As I mentioned, if I go back to the header here, let me close this. Whoops. The URL is going to be this. But in this case, I guess what we would do is have some sort of variable called ticker. In this case, I'm just going to hard code it to LEO. But, in a real use case, we're going to, dynamically pass this ticker into a method. But for now, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to add in the necessary headers to make it look like our request is coming from a browser instead of some sort of script. So I have that. I'm just going to copy and paste that in for some different browsers. Okay, so as you can see, we have Mozilla and Chrome, Safari. Basically, again, the idea with these headers is just to ensure that it thinks our request is coming from a browser instead of some sort of script, which some sites don't like. So to make this request, we're just going to say request equals requests.get pass in the URL as well as the headers. And let's see, we can, then I believe we should be able to print out, well, you know what, I'm just going to run this, make sure we have no failures. Okay, and then from there, we should be able to just print out the request. So we see we have a 200, that's good, but I'm going to print out the JSON. Okay, and you see, you know, we're basically getting exactly what we had. Let me move this ChatGPT, but you know, this is way too long. Let me just print out the daily, the last, we'll say the last 10 rows of the daily. Okay, so as you can see, what we see here is the most recent 10 rows of the daily borrow info. So you see we have the 525, the available shares, the fees, and that you know, pretty much lines up with what I'm doing on my site here, just showing the 10 most recent records. But really, there's a bunch of use cases where you can use this, you know, again, in some sort of trading bot, which is what I'm experimenting with right now. I'm experimenting with both the daily and the real time. But the idea is that you can track the changes to this data over time, as we're seeing here. So we see the changes in the available share count over time and the fees over time, and we can use that data to try to see if, you know, to use it as some sort of indicator in some sort of script or bot. But what's good with this data is, you know, it doesn't have a whole lot, but if I look back at the preview, I believe it's just 1 year. So, you know, I'm not getting too much in terms of if I want to like back test, but it's still something. So, so I'm experimenting with that as well, like back testing against this to see how much this data has affected stock price. And then from there, I hope to put this as an indicator in a bot. Obviously, I wouldn't make a bot with just this indicator. That would be, it would be something added as an addition to an existing bot. So I think that's it. That's really what I wanted to show. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you, you know, how to use this. I just wanted to make this, make you guys aware of this, that this exists. This was something I kind of just stumbled upon. So I really just wanted to pass along that knowledge. Hopefully you can find a good use case for this. And yeah, hopefully you'll be successful in setting up some sort of bot that, that utilizes this. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you guys. Bye.